and good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good evening. My bad. Still stuck on the morning show trending in the AM. No, good evening, and welcome to Fairway to Heaven right here on DSM Media. We're live, as we are every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. I decided to go 2 minutes early, start a little ahead of time. I was ready to roll. We're live every Tuesday night, 9 p.m., Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You know the drill. If you're on Facebook, share it out. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up and subscribe button. If you're on Twitter, whether you're on the Fairway to Heaven Twitter account or the DSM Twitter account, make sure you click follow and also that retweet button out. It's the best place, though, to get involved. If you have questions or comments, head over to the YouTube page on DSM Media. Like these examples that I'm putting up on the screen, easiest way to get involved with the show is right there. We are partnered with here at Fairway to Heaven Fantasy National Golf Club. FantasyNational.com. They provide you the best model-making tools to make the best decisions necessary when building your fantasy lineups. We're going to go over my model this week. We're going to use them. We use them every single week here on the show, and we're proud to be partnered with them on FantasyNational.com. And if you sign up and use their products, shoot them a little message over on Twitter. Let them know. You're like, at Fantasy National, yo, saw your product over there on Fairway to Heaven on DSM Media. They did a great job showing what it does, and let them know that you heard from us here. So we got the RBC Heritage this week. It's got the tough task of following the Masters every single year. It draws a pretty strong crowd. And before we get into it, I do want to touch on the Masters for a few minutes to start the show. I am rolling solo. What's up, my man? How you doing? I am running solo tonight. So we're going to talk a lot. I'm going to talk a lot. But if you got questions, anything you want to know, betting-wise or fantasy golf-wise, drop them in the comments section. I'll cut off whatever thought process I'm in and answer them for you. But we got to talk Masters first. It was a great weekend last week, a great Masters tournament. As always, Scottie Scheffler. Man, the guy's one of the great guys out there, one of the nice, most genuine guys there is, and literally had 95% of the betting and golf and gambling community rooting against him, rooting for him to fail, including myself, because how a guy that had won 3 times in like 6 weeks became one of the fastest guys to win and go from like 30th in the world to number 1 in the world. And nobody bet him. Nobody played him last week. I don't understand what we were all thinking and why we were so all against him. But we were. It is what it is. We kind of, I'm happy. Yeah, we're going to talk Tiger Woods in a second. It's kind of like one of those things that I just don't understand why none of us bet Scottie Scheffler. But Scottie Scheffler, ice in his veins the entire week. All 4 rounds. I got the master scores up here. Shoot, go. I mean, he shot 69, 67 the first 2 rounds, 71, 71 on Saturday and Sunday. What did I do? Oh, there we go. Oops, I'm unmuting things there. I'm an amateur at this tonight. But yeah, Scottie Scheffler, fantastic week. He even 4-putted the last 18th hole there on Sunday and still managed to win by 3. Rory McIlroy in second place is one of the few names I want to talk about. If you've been tallying me and following along, I have been all over the showdowns, the round 2s, the round 3s, the round 4 single-day events. And I was telling everybody all weekend long, watch out for Rory in round 3 and 4. So everybody knows I've been bragging about it, talking. I show you guys all my losses. I also show you my wins, some of them, not all of them. I had 3 $1 entries, single entries into showdowns. 1 in round 2, 1 in round 3, 1 in round 4. Round 2, min cash, $1.50. Round 2, double up, second tier, $2. Round 3, $1 entry, $15 cash. I know it sounds like small dollars. I'm the small bettor. I'm not the big bettor like some of the other shows that are out there. I play smaller events because I like to have fun with it. But the success is there. And it's because I stick to a pretty simple system. And my system said over and over again, Rory McIlroy every single round, especially on Saturday and Sunday, because as these major events go on, he has much better round 3 and round 4 scores. So, again, Rory McIlroy was all over that. I didn't think he'd shoot a 64 on Sunday, but he did, and that was great. Shane Lowry, Cam Smith. Cam Smith disappointed me, but still, he just had a really bad Sunday. Nothing we could do about it. Some other names in the top 10. Corey Connors was all over that one. Sung JM. Cam Champ, man. If you read my article that I write, it's on my own personal WordPress. It's at Feel Stifle, at Bearded Knowledge. Click it. It's in the bio there. I was all over Cam Smith. The 6K Whisperer continues to do what he does best. Find a 6K guy that's going to do well. Complete opposite of this week at RBC and Harbortown Links. Masters is all about driving distance. You need to be able to bomb the ball, and you could get yourself pretty far by just bombing the ball. And that's what he did. He bombed the ball, and he got himself into the top 10. Fantastic. Um, you know, I do got to touch on Tiger as Sports and Metal checked in there. Happy for Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, man, how we cannot be happy. How you can't get emotional watching Tiger Woods. First off, teeing off on Thursday, shooting fantastic Thursday, and even Friday he played really well and making the cut. It was great to see 71 and 74, 2 over going in the weekend. He didn't do as well on the weekend, and I've talked about on this show and other shows I do. I had a similar leg injury. I shattered my leg, almost had it amputated. I lost a lot of blood. Had a lot of problems with it. I still do 20 years later have the problems. I didn't have the $1 billion doctors make me the $1 million man or the $6 million man like him. And the fact that he was out there to go out there and play and compete was inspirational to me. I talked about it on other shows when Alex Smith came back and started playing in football again, how inspirational that is to me as somebody that's gone through a similar injury. And I still struggle. Like I said, today, I don't swing a golf club normally because I can't rotate. I can't do certain things because of my leg. So the fact that he was out there to compete, it was amazing. And the scene of him walking up to 18 on Sunday, even though he's completely out of it, and, the roar of the crowd, it's emotional. He said afterwards he wasn't sure what he was going to do. He committed to, playing at St. Andrews at Augusta, which is great. He actually said that it was his favorite course, which is actually crazy because I always thought Augusta was his favorite course. But he did commit to playing at the Open. We did see online that he did file his paperwork for the U.S. Open. So I think it seems like he is probably going to tee it up at the U.S. Open. PGA Championship still, 4 weeks, that's only a few weeks away, 4 or 5 weeks, will he be healthy enough to play? I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see how Tiger does. We'll see what happens with him. But it was really great to see him tee it up. It was just a great Masters tournament altogether. Top to bottom, you had great moments all weekend long. Great rounds of golf all weekend long. I'm just looking at some of the, high rounds, 67 high rounds from Scottie and Justin Thomas, who everybody thought was out of it. My man, Mike, who works for me, I told him to bet Justin Thomas, and he's like, oh my God, he's out of it. I'm like, just watch what happens in round 2. And what did he do in round 2? He tore it up and got himself right back into contention. He didn't even win. But, Cam Smith, only one of the few guys to ever shoot 4 rounds in the 60s with 268s this weekend. Didn't quite pull it out, but, it was a really great job. Colin Morikawa, who we're going to talk a lot of this week. Great Sunday as well. Great tournament. Colin Morikawa will win a Masters tournament at some point. There's literally no doubt in my mind that he will win a Masters at some point. So, yeah, it was really good Masters, but we got to move on from the Masters. We got to move on to the RBC Heritage, which, like I said, it has the envious task of, following up the Masters every single year. It's a tough task. Really tough task to ask. It's a 7,100-yard par 71 course. It's got the second smallest greens, Harbor Town, on the PGA Tour, so super tough greens. And it's got one key. It's a Pete Dye design, so I've used the term 1,000 times. Pete Dye design, Pete Dye design, Pete Dye guy, those kind of things. So I might not use them as much tonight, but what's the one consistent with Pete Dye courses? You got to hit the ball straight. You got to be a ball striker. You got to be great on approach. You got to be great tee to green. Look, it's the same thing every time we go to a Pete Dye course. So it's kind of, repetitive to an extent, but we know what it is, and we're going to break it down. So this week, like I said, Harbor Town, second small screens to Pebble Beach. I believe it's Pebble Beach. Hold on, let me check my notes here. Where are my green notes here? I think it's Pebble Beach. Whatever. Second small screens. They average 3,700-yard greens. And what that means is when they're that small greens, greens in regulation aren't as important as around the greens are, because you're going to miss a lot of greens, and you got to be good with that around the green game. Shots gained around the green. Putting isn't as important because they're so small. You're not going to see as many 3-putts and stuff like that. So you don't really worry about putting quite as much. The average score here, it ranges. It's anywhere from -12 in the last 5 years to -22. You got really great golfers like Webb Simpson winning. Stuart Sink, one of his 3 wins last year at -19. Webb Simpson at -22 in the loaded 2020 field. Then you got Satoshi Kaderi, Wesley Bryan. Those guys have won here. So it's one of those events where you can win this course easily, win this tournament as a long shot. And I've got some long shot. I got some bets already tallied here. Actually, probably more than I should have. I'm trying to blow as much of my Masters winnings in 1 week as possible. But you got long shots that can win here. You got favorites that can win here. So it's all over the place. That, but just looking at driving, you got to hit the ball straight. There's no doubt about it. You got to hit it well off the tee. So I mean, I'm just looking at some of the stats. I mean, this course, compared to the rest of the courses on tour, driving accuracy, it's the 9th course, the course that's ranked 9th in most importance in driving accuracy on tour. Your approach game, the 5th most important course or stat out of all the courses on tour. Tee to green, 6th. Shots gained total, a stat that I'm normally very high on that most people aren't. 8th most important stat course on tour, and off the tee, 14th. So they're the things that are important around the green, scrambling. Those things are things we're looking at this week. So we like I said, we have a loaded field. I mean, we've got 11 of the top 20 world ranked guys in the field. Colin Morikawa, Patrick Cantlay. Let's see, who are some of the top guys in the field? Cam Smith, Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson, who's played really well here before. Other big names: Jordan Spieth, Daniel Berger, Hatton. 3-time winner Stuart Sink, 2-time winner Jim Furyk. There's a who's of names in this tournament this week. So really important to really break it down and figure it all out. And I'm going to do my shared screen here. Here's the model maker over at fantasynational.com, proud partner of the show. And you'll see what I've done this week. I've got shots gained approach and fairways gained. That's basically your driving accuracy and around the green. 75% of my model is in what I feel are the 3 most important stats this week around the green. Again, you'll miss a lot of greens. I mean, I've got greens in regulation down here, but I just want to see the stats. It's 0%. Putting, not important this week, but I still want to see them. DraftKings points, good drive. Some other stats down there. I just don't have them weighted. But the weighted stats that I've got this week: fairways gained, around the green, and approach. That's 75% of my model. Off the tee, also important. Kind of helps out that fairways gained stat even more. 10%. Ball striking. You've got to be an elite ball striker this week. Absolutely a must. And then the final stat, I've got shots gained total, which I have every single week at least 5%. I could have probably, put that up a little bit higher and maybe lowered around the green or off the tee. But that's what I left it at. And this is my model at the last 50 rounds. I have another screen up with the last 24 rounds because I think it's important to constantly study and look at overall big picture, but also the recent trends. I've got a screen up with the ownership percentage projections right now and the tournament history over the last 5 years. But this is the one we're going to share on the screen here. So I'm going to click load my model, and we're going to see what happens. And I mean, I've already run it, obviously, so I already know what happens. I still got my old school paper notes here as well. So let's see, blah, 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 bling, bling, bling. Here we go. Da-da, there we go. So if we rank my model out here, overall my model, Daniel Berger rates out number 1. Why? Great ball striker, great approach, really good, accurate tee shot guy. He's not a good putter lately in his last 50 rounds. He doesn't score a lot of birdies, but he's a great driver of the ball and an elite thing. Problem with Daniel Berger, when we get into that range, I have a feeling that Daniel Berger may turn out to be one of, if not the chalkiest, highest owned guys there is in the field. So we're going to unsort this by rank, and we're going to resort it by price range here, so we can kind of get a little feel. Just go tier by tier, talk about some of these names in this field. Obviously, a lot of these guys in the top end teed it up at the Masters. I mean, I would keep an eye on it before the Thursday when lineups lock. Is there a chance that some of these guys withdraw? Very possible. I doubt it at this point of the week. I mean, Abraham Answer already withdrew. But at this point of the week, if they haven't withdrawn, I think they pretty much tee it up. I think they would have announced that. You got Justin Thomas, Cam Smith, Dustin Johnson. Dustin Johnson doesn't rate out really well at this course, but on the other end of the equation, he's got great course history. Just in the last 5 years, he's got a T13, T17, T28, and T16, so he plays really well here. Shots gained total at this course, he's 5th over the last 5 years in shots gained total at this course, cumulative. So Dustin Johnson, while he doesn't rate out well here, he's actually sneaky a good play this week. Cam Smith, I'm not sure where his mindset is, but again, great on approach, great around the green, great putter to the golf ball, makes a lot of birdies. He's not the greatest driver. I think this is a little skewed because of how bad it's been, and Justin Thomas. But I'm skipping those top 3 guys. My number 1 play of the week, and I absolutely love this week, is Colin Morikawa at 10,200. He ranks 9th in my model, 3rd in the field in approach. This is over the last 50 rounds, 8 shots gained total. He's the best ball striker in this field over the last 50 rounds. The 9th best fairways gained, 11th greens in regulation. Not the best putter, but that's okay with these small greens. DraftKings points. Look how great he is. And that's just over the last 50. I've got on another page here, the last 24 rounds, he's still 3rd in shots gained total, 9th in ball striking, 4th in greens in regulation. It's not just low or long term, it's short term too. Nobody is striking the ball better on tour right now than Colin Morikawa. Colin Morikawa, he's projected to be 20-25% owned. Fantasy National's got him at 16. They're a little light till Wednesday afternoon. He'll probably come in at 20-21%. You could probably tell me 25%. You could tell me 30% on Colin Morikawa, and I'd still probably play Colin Morikawa this week, just because I absolutely love the play, and I love Colin Morikawa this week. I absolutely do. I can't say it enough. I guess if there was anything else to say in the 10K range, if you were scared about the high ownership, you could pivot down to Patrick Cantlay at 10-2, save $200, and he's just a great ball striker, shots gained total, off the tee, really accurate guy. You see a certain trend with this course, and the guys that are ranked high are the guys that hit the ball well off the tee. Are great. Great ball strikers. That's what we're looking at. Shane Lowry tops off this 9K range. Again, another guy like Colin Morikawa, that's going to be high owned. I mean, they're already rating him at 18%, which means he'll probably finish in that 22-23% when all is said and done. That's a lot. But at 9,800, you're getting a Pete Dye guy. I'll use that term 1,000 times. Pete Dye guy. Great ball striker. Great on approach. Hits a lot of greens. Hits a lot of fairways. I mean, you can't go wrong with Shane Lowry other than ownership. That's the only thing. I mean, I'm even looking at the last 24 rounds. Nothing gets better than Shane Lowry. Perfect course fit, perfect everything. And Shane Lowry is a guy that last week was going to be high owned. And we still went with him. And guess what? He still finished in the top 10. So sometimes everybody talks about on these shows, and there's a lot of podcasts. So I appreciate you tuning into my podcast here. But the thing is, everybody talks about these pivoting off of guys all the time. And I don't get why everybody has to pivot all the time. If there's a great guy and a great play him. Don't worry about the ownership percentage. If you're confident that the guy's going to finish in the top 10, top 5, you're going to get a return. The way I do it, I wish there was a formula. There's a math guy out there that's smarter than me that can figure it out. I want a formula. I want a formula where it takes their ownership percentage, their DraftKings price, and their ceiling to where this guy's going to be a top 10 guy. He's at this price, 9,800. He's going to be 25% owned. Well, he's got to finish in the top 10 to pay off the value of his price. I look at Shane Lowry at 9,800, whatever his price is. I don't care. He's going to pay it off. He's going to get in the top 10, and he's going to be worth the investment and the ownership percentage for sure. Corey Connors is in that exact same boat as Shane Lowry. Look at that, 13th and 14th in the model. Goes to show. I mean, obviously, they're pretty much similar golfers right there. Daniel Berger, number 1 in my model. Like I said, even in my short-term model, let's see where Daniel Berger finishes. He's 2nd in my short-term model. Great. People were down on Daniel Berger. He had a really good first couple of rounds at the Masters. It wasn't as great of a weekend, but the guy's a ball striker. Fourth over the last 50 rounds as a ball striker. I mean, you can't beat it. I'm staying away from him just because I'm worried he's going to also be in that 25% range, and you can't have all 25% owned guys. So I'm staying away from Daniel Berger this week for sure. You got Matthew Fitzpatrick, again, another guy. I mean, he's going to win a tournament soon here, but whether it's this week or not, I don't know. Sung J M's a guy I'm zoning in on. Played great at the Masters. I mean, honestly, he's a little weak on approach, but shots gained total, around the green, off the tee, ball striking, greens in regulation, putting, DraftKings points, good drives, birdies are better. Look at all those numbers there. The guy's fantastic. Jordan Spieth, stay away. Just get away. I don't want to hear anybody talking about playing Jordan Spieth, betting Jordan Spieth for a long time. Jordan Spieth has got to be off people's minds for a little while. He's just not playing well at all. I mean, I'm looking at another screen here. I mean, hell, at the Valero, he was almost 18%. But we're looking at his numbers here. Lost strokes at the Masters, gained, obviously missed the cut. At the Valero, he finished 35th. He gained in all categories across the board. Outside of putting, the players missed the cut. We watched that. The Genesis 26th gained the week before. Phoenix 60th place. Pebble Beach 2nd gained. Then you go back to the Farmers. Lost strokes across the board. century, lost strokes across the board. The guy just is too inconsistent right now to even remotely consider playing him when there's so many better options. I mean, Neiman played with Tiger, was a really good play last week, almost first round leader again. Russell Henley, he's going to be like Berger, really chalky guy, second in my model. Another one of those great ball strikers, doesn't have to worry about driving distance this week. Webb Simpson, what do you do with Webb Simpson? It's my big question this week. I have no idea what you do with Webb Simpson. Webb Simpson, just in the last 5 years. I mean, he's won this event multiple times, but just in the last 5 years, T9 in 2021, won it in 2020, T16, T5, T11. He leads the field in cumulative strokes gained in this event over the last 5 years. Webb Simpson, just everything says, doesn't matter what Webb Simpson's doing overall. When he's here, you got to play him. You know, let's look at it. He lost the strokes on approach at Valspar, but that's it. Obviously missed the cut the Players Sony Open. You know, that was his last event before that. So he was coming off an injury. So the Players, even Valspar, even the Masters, you know, the numbers aren't fancy, but before that, man, the guy's a great golfer. I mean, if you just look at it, over his last 10 events played, he's gained strokes in every stat category off the tee, except for off the tee. Tee to green, last 5, last 10, last 20 events, always gaining. On approach, gaining, last 5 events, last 10 events, last 20 events, around the green, putting. The guy fits this kind of a course to a tee. But everybody's going to play him. I could see right now, he's projected at 15. He's going to come in at 20% again. And the question is, I'm playing Webb Simpson. But you got other names down here in this lower 8K range that are just as good. Siwoo Kim. That's a name that I want people to look at. Siwoo Kim, I was all over him at the Masters. Had lots of bets on him at the Masters. Had him in a lot of lineups. And let's be honest, based off of his price and he was 14% owned. And what was he like? 7,400 at the Masters, I believe. I forget. But this guy is playing great golf. The Valero finished in 13th place. 6.6 strokes gained total. 5.3 tee to green. 2.1 on off the tee. Half a stroke approach. 2.6 around the green. 1.5 putting. Arnold Palmer gained across the board except for around the green. Genesis, not his best finish. Lost a lot of strokes putting. But I'm not too worried about that at this course. Phoenix Open did really well across the board except for putting. Farmers gained strokes in every category. The Amex gained strokes in every category. 11th, 26th, 73rd, 26th, 13th, 39th at the Masters. Siwoo Kim is playing fantastic golf, and no one's talking about him. 8,400. It's a steal for him. I'm all over Siwoo Kim. I've got to bet this week that Siwoo Kim wins. Where are my betting numbers? I bet Siwoo Kim 55-1. Siwoo Kim, right now he's only projected at 9% for this field. It's going to come up a little bit. It's going to get up to about 13, 14%. It's a slam dunk in my mind. Siwoo Kim. Guys, play yourself some Siwoo Kim this week if you want a good shot. Alex Noren's another guy. There's a bunch of guys in this. If you look at where they rank over the last 50 versus over the last 24 rounds, you'll see a massive change in numbers. And while Alex Noren here, 41st in my model, if I go to my other screen where I got it 24 rounds, he's 28th. In the last 24 rounds, 7 shots gained total, 11th on approach, 23rd ball striking, 19th greens in regulation, 20th putting, 25th DraftKings points, 21 good drives. Alex Noren's a play that if people only look at the big picture, they might miss out on somebody. I'm a big Alex Noren fan this week. Definitely think he could play really, really well. Tommy Fleetwood, he's a Pete Dye guy. Again, another one of those guys that inconsistent overall, but recently playing well. Kevin Kisner, another guy. Chris Kirk, third in my model. It's one I like, obviously. I'm a Chris Kirk guy. You guys have seen me play and talk about Chris Kirk before. Another guy, great around the green, great off the tee. Just a pure ball striker. Let me click and do a deeper dive here onto Christian Kirk. I don't even know if it's Christian Kirk or Christopher Kirk. I don't know. It's Chris Kirk. Let's see here. He did not play at the Masters, so he's well rested. His last event, the Valero, finished in 35th place, but he lost 2.9 strokes putting, but gained 4.2 around the green, 1.6 approach, almost a stroke off the tee, 6.7 strokes tee to green, 3.6. Dude, Christian Kirk, you take out the Masters, wrong end of the draw with the Masters. Arnold Palmer finished in 5th place, 11.2 strokes gained overall, 9.4 tee to green, 3.5 off the tee, 3.5 approach, Look, I can keep going on Christian Kirk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His last 5 events before the Players, gained strokes across the board, all the key categories. Christian Kirk is a smash play this week, and he's only coming in. Let's see where his ownership is. He's at 11.5% right now. Might come in closer to 15. But still, Christian Kirk, definitely a good play. All right, 7K range here a little bit. Let's dive into this a little bit. We're breezing right through this tonight. Gives me a chance to take a little sip of my my cocktail here. 7,900 range starts at Maverick McNeely. Maverick McNeely wasn't originally on my board. He wasn't. I was listening to my man Rick Run Good. I listen to him every week before I do this show. It helps me get my mind in the right spot. Helps me prep and get thinking the right way. And he's the GOAT, Rick. So if Rick brings somebody up, I think about them a little bit more. So let's see what he is. He's great. Shots gained total. He's great off the tee. A really good ball striker. Greens regulation really good. DraftKings points he scores. He's did not play the Masters last week, so he's well rested. Outside of around the green, over his last 5 rounds or last 5 tournaments, gained strokes. Last 10 tournaments, gained strokes. Last 20, gained strokes in every category except for around the green. We look at the Valero 35th place, lost strokes around the green and putting, but off the tee to green approach, all great. The Players, right side of the draw, gained everywhere except for around the green. Had an awful Arnold Palmer. Finished 7th in the Genesis, a really tough tournament, really tough field, and gained strokes off the tee to green, around the green. 8.4 strokes gained putting. And Pebble Beach gained everywhere. Farmers gained almost everywhere except for he was negative 0.7 on approach. I mean, this guy is playing really good golf. Houston Open, around the green. He's this close to putting it all together. And he will soon. This is a week, man. He seems to fit a lot of the right criteria to be a great play at 7,900. And like I said, he's well rested at this point. Obviously, he didn't play at the Masters. Finished 4th here last year, 58th the year before that. Let's see where his ownership percentage. 12.1% right now. So we're looking at 15, 16% probably for him when the week's over. Maverick McNeely's a good play. Kokrak, I don't know about Kokrak this week. Kevin Na, another one of those great ball strikers on tour. The 50 rounds versus the still whatever there. Kevin Na, I don't even know if I played Kevin Na. I've done a lot of my lineups already. He was on my maybe list. He did not make the final cut, honestly. So we won't even talk about Kevin Na right now. Brian Harmon, another good ball striker. Another guy that you don't have to hit the ball too hard. Mito. Adam Hadwin, number 1 in my model, actually, if I go and switch the last 24 rounds. And I'm going to get Adam Hadwin right one of these weeks. Obviously, already bet Adam Hadwin. Bet him 65 to 1 to win outright. I bet him 55 to 1 to be the leader after the first round. This guy is great. So even overall after 50 rounds, he's 4th in my model, but he's number 1 in my model over the last 24 rounds. This guy is playing great golf. Again, another one of the guys that did not play at the Masters, so he's well rested. But let me go over some of these numbers. At the Valero, where he finished 4th, 9.9 strokes gained tee to green, 2.8 off the tee, 4.3 approach, 2.8 around the green, 8.6 overall. Valero, 7th place, 9 strokes gained total, 7.4 tee to green, 1.7, 3.3, 2.4. All these categories, Players, right into the draw there. Lost off the tee there, but, I mean, still, really great showing there. Phoenix Open, gained all over the place. Pebble Beach, gained all over the place. You got to go back to the Farmers in January, where last time that he lost strokes gained across the board and missed the cut. And Genesis, actually, he really stunk at the Genesis. Oops, kind of skipped right over that one there. But yeah, Adam Hadwin, the guy's a beast recently. Dude, take a little bit of advice from me. Play yourself in some Adam Hadwin. Tom Hoge, another guy, looks much better. He's had terrible. Where's tournament history for Tom Hoge? Tom Hoge, 25th last year, 2 missed cuts, and a T55. Tom Hoge sounds like a bad play. But Tom Hoge is a much different golfer now than he was. Obviously, made the cut at the Masters, made the cut at the Players, did really well at the Arnold Palmer, missed at the Genesis, but obviously Phoenix Open, played really well. Pebble Beach, he won. Obviously, great shots gained categories there. But even when he missed the cut at the Farmers, he still gained strokes off the tee. He barely lost strokes tee to green and on approach. The Amex, great finish there. Even going back into the last calendar year, the RSM Classic, where he finished 4th, gained a boatload of strokes everywhere. Tom Hoagie's a much different golfer than the guy that used to miss a lot of cuts. So everyone needs to chill out on Tom Hoagie a bit and realize that Tom Hoagie is a much better player now than he was. So course history is not as important. Ian Poulter, another Pete Dye guy. Kevin Streelman. Love Kevin Streelman this week. 10th around the green, 8th fairways gain. That's over the last 50. I mean, hell, he's 9th in my model. If I look at just the last 24 rounds, great around the green, off the tee, fairways gained, all those categories. Kevin Streelman's a good play this week. Let's see how he's done over the last 5, 10 rounds or tournaments he's played in. Great last 5, last 10. It gets a little worse as it goes. Valero, 18th, 7th at the Valspar, 22nd to players, missed a cut at the Arnold Palmer, 16th in the Honda. So for the last 5 events, T22 or better, gain strokes every key category. Little shaky on approach it a few times there, but everything else is pretty solid. Kevin Streelman's another guy I do like a lot this week. Let's keep going down. Russell Knox. Always got to have me some Russell Knox when he's in the field. I got him 95-1. I do have Kirk 55-1, Hoagie 65-1 bets, but Knox 95-1. We've seen guys win with these kind of odds before. Number 1 in greens and regulation. So if he can just, if he's hitting greens on these fairways and these small greens, he's 6th in fairways gained. So he's going to hit the ball in the fairway every single time, and he's going to hit the green. What does that mean? That means he's going to have more birdie opportunities than anybody. I know birdies are better gained. He doesn't rank high in the last 50 rounds. And where is he? Where is he? Oh, what am I doing here? I'm losing my train of thought here. Russell Knox is 7,300. So why can't? Oh, there he is. So in 24 rounds, a little bit better on the birdies are better. But I'm telling you, this kind of a course, he's going to hit a lot of greens. He's going to have a lot of opportunities for birdie. And it's great. He finished 6th at the Players. Look at, if you could see the screen I'm looking at now in his shots gained category there at the Players, it's fantastic. Go back to Genesis. It was a little shaky around the green and putting, but gained everywhere else so well. Russell Knox, he's a top 20 in this event, absolutely. And let's look at his ownership percentage here. I got too many tabs open now. That's what my problem is right now. I've gone and opened up way too many tabs here. Where's his ownership percentage going to come in at this point? 7% for a guy that's going to have at least a top 20 at 7,300. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Play it. Play it. Play it. That's all I could say. Aaron Wise, 4.4% owned. I was just on that screen, so I said it. Another guy I like. Another great ball striker, great on approach. Hits a lot of fairways. Definitely love him a lot this week. Sebastian Munoz. He's a guy, only 31st in the model. But I started him. I played him a little bit this week in some of my lineups. I got a lot of my lineups done. So I bet him also first-round leader at, what was he, 80-1 first-round leader. So let me take a look here. Made the cut, Sebastian Munoz at the Players. Was terrible on approach around the green, but gained strokes putting, greened him off the tee to green. Yeah. Arnold Palmer, only place he lost was putting. Genesis, only lost really at putting. Phoenix Open, only lost putting. If we're not weighing putting much, I go back to the RSM Classic. He even gained strokes putting at the RSM Classic. If we're not weighing putting as an important stat this week, why not play Sebastian Munoz? He's going to come in super low owned. Where is he again? What was his ownership percentage again here? Dude, I'm struggling tonight to keep track of all these numbers. That's why having a co-host helps sometimes here. Can be playing with these numbers while other people are talking. Anyway, he's not going to have a very high ownership, Sebastian Munoz, this week at all. What the hell am I doing here? Munoz. I don't know what I'm doing here with this. Let's see here. There he is. He is 8.8% calculated right now. Probably coming right around 10. Love me some Sebastian Munoz. So let's get into the 6K. Because, again, this event is an event that you definitely see some guys come from, behind, come from out of nowhere to win. So, you can look at some of these guys in the 6K range. You try to fade them. You could play a Patrick Cantlay and play a Colin Morikawa, play that Stars and Scrubs style lineup, because you got guys down here. You got Doug Gim, 19th in my model. Hits a lot of fairways. Really solid on approach at 6,900. You've got Brendan Todd, great around the green. Hits a lot of fairways. Really good putter. Joel Dahman. Love Joel Dahman. Off the tee. Ball striker. Extraordinaire. Hits fairways like they're going out of style. You can go down here. Brian Stewart. #1 guy in fairways gained this week. So why wouldn't you play him? Look at this. We're just in the 6,700. We haven't even touched all these names. You know, we can go further down. We can go Neesmith. I'm a fan of Neesmith. Another guy hits really good drives, hits a lot of greens in regulation. You go down here even further. Adam Svensson. You know, Adam Svensson was a great golfer this year for a little while. Really good for a little while. Then he kind of, missed the cut to Valero, missed it at Punta Cana. People are kind of forgetting about 9th at the Honda, 7th as a Sony Open. The guy was playing really good golf for a little while. So, I mean, just looking at the Honda, Classic, which was only 4 or 5 events ago for him, 11.8 strokes gained tee to green, 4.6 around the green, 3.2 off the tee, 3.9 approach. Adam Svensson, people are forgetting about him. Pat Perez, another good name. Jim Furyk won this event. Jim Furyk, this is the kind of course and the event. Now, I did not play Jim Furyk this week. I will say that right now. I did not play Jim Furyk at all this week. Thing is, though, Jim Furyk, you don't need to be the longest hitter on tour. And I don't have my DraftKings page up. I want to bring up my DraftKings page for a second here because, we don't have his numbers on Fantasy National for his senior tour. But I want to bring up his, how he's playing on the senior tour here for a second. Let's see here. Let's go to one of my lineups here. And let's bring up Jim Furyk here. Jim Furyk on the senior tour right now, okay? He's got a T34, T27, T25, T38, T8, and then his last event on the PGA Tour, the Sony Open, a T42. So the guy between the Senior Tour and the Pro Tour this year hasn't missed a cut. Could you make a case for Jim Furyk? You absolutely could. He's going to hit the fairway every single time, and he's going to hit the green. He's not going to do anything flashy. He's not going to score you a lot of fantasy points. But you want a guy that's, 6,300? Go ahead and play him. There's nothing wrong with it. I thought about playing Luke Donald a little bit, and if I do more lineups tomorrow, which I probably will. Like I said, trying to blow all my winnings right now in one shot. Luke Donald's a guy, man, former world #1, man. He's kind of having a little resurgence this year. Another guy that's not going to hit the ball a ton. But, man, Luke Donald, man, he knows how to win golf tournaments. I'm not going to say he's going to win, but look at this. He made the cut to Valero, losing strokes across the board, except for on approach and putting. Valspar, 16th he finished. 7 strokes gained total. 4.8 tee to green. 6.2 on approach. 2.2 putting. Really good. He missed a bunch of cuts before that, but Pebble Beach, another similar course, super small greens. Made the cut, finished 42nd. He was gaining strokes, tee to green. He was gaining strokes on approach, around the green, putting. He was gaining those strokes. Sony Open, 27th place. Gaining strokes everywhere, but off the tee. Now, I'm not saying he's going to make a run at the title. But Luke Donald, you can make a case that Luke Donald's a play this week. Tyler Duncan's another one. I didn't even know who Tyler Duncan was, really. Tyler Duncan popped in my model. Only 53rd, but then when I ran my 24-round mile, finished 16th in it. 14th fairways gained. That's mostly why. He's not really good putter, not really good in greens and regulation, but let's deep dive him here. He's going to be a guy that's owned next to 0. In his last 5 tournaments, he's gained strokes across the board except for putting. Missed the cut to Valero, but made the cut at Punta Cana, gained strokes. Finished 25th at Valspar, gained strokes across the board. 35th at Puerto Rico, gained strokes across the board. Made the cut at Pebble Beach, gained strokes, tee to green and on approach. 2 very important stats. Tyler Duncan at 6,200. I play Tyler Duncan. I got 20 lineups built right now. I got three little dabs of Tyler Duncan this week. So there's lots of options down here on this board that make sense. Stars and scrubs, man. I love it this week. I got a lot of Patrick Cantlay and Colin Morikawa. I'm looking at my thing right now. I've done 20 lineups. I got 12 lineups with Colin Morikawa. I got 10 lineups with Siwoo Kim, 8 with Hadwin and Noren. They're my main guys. Patrick Cantlay and 6 of them. Kirk and 7 of them. But yeah, it's Colin Morikawa and Siwoo Kim. They're my main guys this week. I've got lots of bets. Like I said, I got Siwoo Kim. I got Christian Kirk, Hadwin, Kokrak. That was a mistake to Kokrak. I almost might cash that out, but once I cash it out, then I know we'll win, so I won't do that. Hoagie, Knox, Dahman. I love Joel Dahman this week. 100-1. Joel Dahman could definitely win this golf tournament. There's no doubt about it in my mind. So yeah, that's where I'm at this week. I think this week is a lot better of a tournament than people think. I've got Munoz, Hadwin, and Im first round leaders. I got some spicy little, to use my man Chris's term, froggy parlays going this week. Placement parlays. I even got one on the Fairway to Heaven Twitter page. Go check it out. That's actually on my personal page at Beard and Knowledge. If it gets retweeted and liked and it hits, I'm going to give somebody that likes and retweets it and follows me $100. Venmo, simple. Pays out like $1,100. Odds are pretty slim, but hey, why not? Why not try to win $100? Hey, make sure you check it out. So yeah, this week, all I can say, there's a lot of good plays this week. I didn't touch on every single name, but like I said, you can make a case for Luke List, you can make a case for Mito, Matt Kuchar, just like Webb Simpson, Joaquin Neiman. We didn't talk about him. We can make a case for him this week. There's lots of names. Bo Hostler, you can make a case for him. Brendan Todd, you can make a case for. Doug Gim. They're all names you can make a case for. But when you're, building lineups, you can only play so many guys. I really think, I haven't bet Colin Morikawa. I don't know what he's at right now. I know earlier it was like 12 or 14-1. If you've been following me and tallying me enough, I stay away from those less than 20-1 odd guys. I'd almost rather, hope he gets a bad end of a draw, and his odds go from. I'm bringing him up right now. He's 12-1 right now. Yeah, exactly. I'm not a guy that bets 12-1 golfers. Maybe he gets a bad end of a draw. His odds go to 20-1, then I can jump on it, or maybe he bogeys the first hole or two, and then I could jump on him once those odds get a little bit worse. But I need to try to find good investments with my money, and I'd rather bet 5 or 6 guys than 3 guys. But Colin Morikawa, man, he's a great play, and I'm going to try to find a way. He's actually in a couple of my placement parlays. Actually, I got him in all my placement parlays as top 10 finish. So I actually shouldn't say that I don't have him bet, because he's in all 3 of my placement parlays. So, Colin Morikawa. You just can't go wrong with Colin Morikawa, Shane Lowry, Corey Connors. They're my guys this week. And like I said, Siwoo Kim, man. I'm gonna try to share the screen again here. I'm gonna bring up Siwoo Kim one more time, because guys, I'm loving me some Siwoo Kim this week. I'm probably the only one on tour or on the show circuit here that wants to talk Siwoo Kim. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stop that share screen, and I'm gonna share a different screen here so that I could show you, so that I'm not lying. Siwoo Kim's numbers here. Where is Siwoo Kim? There is Siwoo Kim. Look at this. Look at these numbers from Siwoo Kim here over his last tournaments. Look at the Valero. Look at these numbers. Look at the Arnold Palmer. Look at them here. Even the Phoenix Open. Yeah, he lost on approach there, but everything else so great. The Farmers, the Amex. Look at these numbers for Siwoo Kim in his last 6 or 8 events. You got to go back. Even these events where his numbers a century, it was a shorter, or smaller field, but still gained off the tee, gained around the green there. You got to go back to like the CJ Cup, the Shriners, the off season to see where he was struggling. And then you go back here, Sanderson, Fortnite, BMW, still gaining strokes everywhere. The Wyndham, he finished in second place at the Wyndham and still lost strokes off the tee. People aren't putting enough respect. You have to go back to July. Look at this. This is where he was struggling. St. Jude, Rocket Mortgage, Travelers, U.S. Open. Actually, he had really good numbers at the U.S. Open. But there's a stretch here in July, late June, early July, where he was struggling. But look at these numbers. Siwoo Kim, again, what are Siwoo Kim's ownership percentage projected at? 9.1%. I'm going to refresh the screen, because in the last hour, they may have changed. I want to see where he's at right now. That's still 9.1%. People are not putting enough respect on Siwoo Kim, man. I'm telling you. Scotty, checking in late here. Go place a bet on Siwoo Kim. Do it. Do it, man. 55-1. Throw $1. They'll buy 2 cases of beer if he hits. Come on, man. People need to show some Siwoo Kim love this week. But that's what I got for this week's show. Again, hey, a little shorter this week, only about 45 minutes. Been a long day at work, been a long week at work, been a long month at work. But yeah, and I rattled through a lot of names. I'm doing a write-up now also, like I said. Check out my personal page at Beard and Knowledge. In the link there, you'll see my WordPress website. I do a little bit more of a write-up on some of these guys. Like I said, last week I wrote up on 12 guys, which was a lot, but it was the Masters. I was excited. 11 of the 12 guys did excellent. I think 11 of the 12 made the cut. 10 of them finished in the top 15, 20. So I'm on par with that. I appreciate everybody reading and sharing that stuff out. Go on the DSM Media T-shirt site. It's linked on the DSM page. You can get yourself a Fairway to Heaven T-shirt. I'd greatly appreciate the support. Team DSM would greatly appreciate the support. But guys, that's all I got for you. That's my time tonight. Let's have a great week. Let's be profitable this week, guys. Let's make some more money. Let's follow up a huge profitable Masters week, which I don't like to brag. I brag when I miss, but I don't brag too much when I hit. I had about $35, $38 in entries and bets last week and pulled in about $150. To me, on my small little tiny budget that I put towards this every week, that's a huge return for me. So I was really pumped with that. If Cam Smith would have won, Jesus, I'd be buying everybody drinks. But Cam Smith did not win. So unfortunately, it was only a small return. But it was a really good week. And I feel really positive right now. Had a couple bad weeks there for a little while. But I feel really positive going into this week with RBC. I feel really positive with my research this week. Again, Colin, Lowry, Kim, Hadwin, Kirk. These are the names you got to be looking at. Knox. And, dude, if you're going to bet a long shot, Joel Dahman, 100 to 1. Love those numbers. Actually, let me, real quick, before we get off the air here, I want to see if any other odds have changed here. See if I like any of these other numbers down in the 100 plus to 1 range. Aaron Wise, 151. I can make a choice there. Matt Neesmith, 180 to 1. Wow. Joel Dahman's 180 to 1 on DraftKings. Man, I bet him. Man, I got him 100 to 1. And his numbers have fallen. I bet him on FanDuel. I got to get those 100 to 80 to 1s on DraftKings. That's crazy. I normally bet DraftKings Sportsbook, bet on FanDuel this week because they gave me a lot of free money and a lot of free credits. But, man, I might have to cash that shit out and move that bet over to DraftKings because 180 to 1 is insane. Hell, he's 30 to 1 to make the top 5. Where's 14 to 1 to make the top 10? Damn, I love it. Love it. I might have to make that adjustment to the bet right there. I'm continuing down. I just want to see if there's any names down here. Kadire, who's a former champion, 250 to 1. Charles Schwartzel, 250 to 1. That's what I'll say there. Luke Donald, 300 to 1. Yeah, why not? What's Luke Donald? 23 to 1, top 10. Not really. Jim Furyk, 300 to 1. There's some crazy odds down here. Svensson, now that's a 300 to 1 that I could bet. Wesley Bryan, 400 to 1. Yeah, no. Man, these are some crazy odds this week. Vajegas, 500 to 1. Davis Love's in the field. I didn't even realize that. Man, crazy odds this week. But have a good time. Obviously, bet responsibly. Don't go crazy like me. Don't try to blow your whole bankroll that you won in 1 week like I am this week. But yeah, everybody have a great night. Let's keep the positivity rolling. We'll be back tomorrow morning, trending in the AM, 8:30 a.m. Also, rolling solo as we continue to go on here. If you've got any questions, that you need answered, hit me up on Twitter at Beard of Knowledge or at Fairway, the number 2 heaven _. I'll answer all your fantasy golf questions, fantasy football questions too. I'll be back in the fall with fantasy football shows as well. So everybody have a great night. Be well. We're going to say cheers to it. And y'all have a great night. Oh, not the laugh. There we go. Let's cash.